All right, well, we will call this meeting to order, the Ripon City Council, Tuesday, March 11th. Anybody from the public wish to make a public comment? No, none from online. Well, with that, we'll go into closed session. Okay, we will come back out of closed session here. Mr. City Attorney, could you please read us out?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The council did meet at 5:30 in closed session to discuss the matters listed on the agenda as item number 1. And all members of the council were present during the entirety of the closed session. Council approved invoices pertaining to the litigation items indicated on the agenda. Beyond that, there was no reportable action.
All right, thank you. With that, please rise and join us in the flag salute, and please remain standing for the invocation.
Lord, we take some time to pause and give space for you in our meeting. We know that while we possess power and leadership in this community, you have ultimate power and rule sovereignly. So we appeal to you, your wisdom, your guidance. Help us discern your will, because we know it's what is good for this community and for all humans. And may you be present this evening. Amen.
All right. Let's go have a roll call, please.
Councilmember Leo Zuber,
Here.
Mike Restucia,
Present.
Dean Euchre,
Here.
Vice Mayor Gary Barton,
Present.
Mayor Daniel DeGraff.
Here. All right. Public discussion. This time is time for the public to address the council on items that are not on the agenda. So if you have something you'd like to present, please come forward and state your name and address and go ahead.
Hold on a sec. It's good to see you all again. I just want to make sure I get video for evidence that I did perform my poet laureate duties for today. Let's see. Okay, here we'll do this. I missed you last February because, as I mentioned, I was traveling. My name is Emil Guillermo. I am the official poet laureate of Ripon, and I take my duties seriously. I was away in February, and I got homesick, and I wrote this poem. Ode to the Central Valley Almond Tree. In New York City, 3,000 miles away, I clutch my bag of nuts from home to remind me of where I live. Where I'm from, complicated. Where I live, easy. In big terms, the Central Valley. In small terms, Ripon, almond capital of the world. Fresno, you can have the raisins. Ripon's the nuts. The height of our self-esteem. In February, I'm in NYC. Too cold, too frigid, too many people of the right or wrong kind. Too urban, too cold to go out. Pizza? Not vegan. I snack on my bag of valley nuts between the bites. I wonder, where are the almond trees of New York? Any city tree outside of Central Park is just a symbol, an ornament of nature, barely amid the concrete in midwinter. The smart are not here, maybe somewhere tropical, maybe Florida. One night after the play I'm acting in ends and my imagination takes a break, the theater audience walks out to snowfall, a 3-inch blanket of white over the ugly of the city, the sidewalks, cars, the twigs of bare trees make me homesick for my small little town in the valley not low. In Ripon, the trees are always there, in place, with purpose, but they are quiet, workmanlike. They do without fanfare the money part. Some knocking required, but all business. Then, after harvest and cold, then wet, they cycle to their glory time again. In February, the trees know who they are. They aren't grapes nor peaches. Related to peaches, if you look at the pit, the stone, the family stones, the secret is always in the stones. And when the almond, or as God-fearing Riponites say, almonds, the trees get to celebrate themselves. Their small white flowers explode, crown the skies, blanket the fields, declaring for the orchards row after row, every last tree a gauntlet of the blossomed, proclaiming with existential giddiness their Aggie sexiness. If we could hear the trees talk, we'd hear their joy. Undeniably, it would sound like this. Hey, we're here and just about to go nuts. I will read again at the Ripon Arts League a poem March 20th, 7:30 before the program. And then again, don't forget, April is Poetry Month. There's poetry in Ripon. There's poetry where we live. And we will have the Poetry Brigade meeting at the Ripon Library on April 3rd at 4 p.m. It's free. And if you don't like the poetry, you can come for the free refreshments. So hope to see you poetry lovers at these events. Thank you very much again.
Thank you. All right. Any other public comment?
Hi. Can you hear me? Been to many city council meetings, but never been to one of Ripon's. So my name is Ray Ruiz, my wife Darlene. We just moved here after 29 years in Modesto, just moved to Ripon, and both very pleased to be Riponites as far as Darlene goes. It's her first time here. Me, I'm a Ripon High graduate. My parents were Ripon High grad, so I'm back home. We're very happy to be back here. Maybe some people in the room know, but tonight's discussion, I'll be real brief. I want to talk about our son Trevor that we lost 4 years ago. I don't want to talk about how we lost him, but I just want to talk about Trevor. Trevor was 29 years old, a graduate of San Jose State, a high school football official for 12 years. Loved participating in helping youth officials and different sports around the area and youth sports around the area. Since we lost Trev, Darlene and I have started the Trevor Seaver Foundation. And you can only imagine, in fact, the first time we went on a walk and walked through Michelin Park, even though I've belonged to Spring Creek for 30 years and been coming here forever, I really have never really noticed Michelin Park. But so when we first walked through Michelin Park, I just started thinking, my God, Trevor would have went crazy with this place, being able to official different games and stuff like that. In fact, a week before he passed, he was so excited because he had just been approved to start doing Pac-12 college games. Because I think he would have been a wonderful PE teacher, but his real, I think, dream that he really wanted to do was become an NFL referee. So what we're here for is to kind of let you guys know that the Trevor Seaver Foundation would like to help out Michelin Park and help out the city of Ripon. We'd like to make some donations towards you guys because we just think that's a wonderful area. We're right by it. We live on Sanus Avenue now. Also, one other thing, Trevor also, now it's ours, but Trevor also had a dog, Cookie. And up until a couple months ago, that we moved here, Cookie sat on Trevor's bed for 6 or 8 hours a day, staring out the window, waiting for Trevor to come home. I wish I could speak dog and explain it to him. But we've also noticed that you guys have a lot of room out there at Michelin Park. And we, obviously, we're just throwing this out at you. We'd like to also help make a donation, if possible, if you guys could maybe build a dog park out there. We see a lot of guys out there, walking around with parks, but we think it'd be kind of neat to have an official, dog park out there at Michelin Park. And if you want to accept our donation and kind of go forward with that, we'd love it to be named, Trevor and Cookie's Playground. But bottom line is our foundation, and I have a few flyers on that, want to help out Michelin Park because it just seems like this is what Trevor would want us to do. So just kind of wanted to introduce ourselves. We're extremely happy to be in Ripon and love the community and wish we came a lot sooner. Thanks very much. Sorry for taking too much time.
Yeah, welcome back and thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, and if you guys do have information you want to share with us or staff, please, you can leave it and we can take a look at some of that stuff. So thank you very much. All right, moving on to approval of the minutes, unless there's anybody else that'd like to speak. No? And there's nothing online submitted, correct? No? Okay. Approval of the minutes of the regular meeting, February 11th, 2025.
Move.
For a second.
That's right.
You are. You said you wanted to. Okay, approval of the agenda as posted or amended. I believe there's a couple items you want to pull.
Mr. Mayor, I want to pull 1.2C. I'm a paid director of Bank of Stockton, so I can't vote on
Do you
this.
need to step out for that one?
Yep.
Okay, and then Mr. Barton, you had one?
Yeah, 1.3B, the flagpole.
1.3B. Any others? Okay, is there a motion to?
I'll move to approve as amended.
Second.
Alright. Okay, we want to just approve the consent calendar as amended and do the other items?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, well, let's do 1.3B first. Can we do that?
Okay. You don't want me to come back in?
Well, you're welcome to come back in.
Yes, Mr. Mayor,
It-
thank you. So I thought it would be appropriate to have a conversation about this. People who know me know I'm a big fan of the United States of America and our flag. The cost of this flagpole, I guess, stood out to me. There are a number of, well, there are a couple of flags in that area that are very visible. And so I just wanted to have a conversation in the council and with staff to justify this expenditure.
One thing I'd like to point out, in the staff report, it talked about, I think the price was based on a flag that was 25 by 15. The actual size that staff has been suggesting that this flag be is on the order of 12 by 18. So this is similar to the size, or same size as what Ripon Christian has in their baseball field. And to give you some other examples to put it in perspective, DeGraff Development, they have a 10 by
Not me.
15 foot flag on a 45-foot pole. Same with Cal Freight. On the backside there, they have a 10 by 15 foot flag on a 45 foot pole. So ours is a 50-foot pole, planned to be a 12 by 18 foot flag.
Does that reduce the cost than what's approved, what we're approving here then?
It'll change the pole will remain the same, but there'll be a slight reduction in the actual flag itself.
Oh, the flag number 705.
Right.
And what's the life, Kevin, do you know of a flag that size?
Year.
Yeah, it probably a year, depending on weather and such.
Can I just make a comment? I paid $4,700 for my house to have one put in. So, I mean, I looked at that. I didn't think it was that unreasonable. And I was always told, just get whatever flag you can that'll last, because every year you're going to replace it anyway, just because the wind and
Yeah,
rain
start to lose
and
their color and they
sun.
get beat up, but. Yeah, and same thing, I had a pole placed in my yard, or I bought it and put it in myself, but, was curious about the price too, so I went and price checked, with the company that I purchased mine from. And it seemed maybe a little bit more, but I think, you'd mentioned that possibly there's, some support, with them installing this as well. It's not just the cost of the pole, but.
Right. Staff is our staff is doing the work on it, but the supplier of the pole is going to come out and help us do everything so it comes out as it should.
And I understand it's a local supplier, is
It
that
is.
correct, Kevin?
It
Thank
is.
you.
Yeah, this rebar, 2.5 yards of I mean, this thing is going to be pretty solid. Mine's only 25 feet. I don't think they used rebar and all that.
Did you get a permit
Maybe
for
they
that?
did, huh?
Yeah.
Yes, I did. Thank you very much.
Can we inspect?
I think we should.
You can't, can you inspect my pole? You see it all the time.
Goodness.
Oh, my.
Order, please, order. Is there, any- would we like to go ahead and take some action on this?
I'll move to approve item 1.3B.
I will second.
I'll third.
All right, 1.2C, Mr. Restucci. I believe
Okay,
you're
I'm
gonna
leaving my
step
phone.
out. Yeah, don't take too long. Okay, any questions on this one?
I'll move to approve.
I can't get the vote here.
I can't either.
We want to take a voice vote? There we go. All right, item 2, public hearings, 2A, community development block grant and home programs. Mr. Kim?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, fellow council members. This is the time of year where we get to allocate the CDBG funds that we get from, it's overseen by the county. This year, where there's a pretty good staff report showing the recommendations in there. We did get, for the public service program part of it, we did get quite a few, we did get a couple applications on that, and it did end up being a little bit more than what the allocation was going to be. So we ended up just funding everybody at a percentage for that. So they're all getting the same percentage for the public service programs. That's what's in the staff report there. And then the other funds for the public works project funds that we allocate, we're allocating towards the interior rehabilitation of the senior center project. So I did kind of spell out where we are at with the current project. The exterior facade project is actually been awarded, and it came in at $348,000. We have about $404,000 in funds allocated towards that. So when we wrap that project up, if there's any change orders, we want to make sure we get that covered. We'll reallocate any extras towards the interior rehab, and then we'll go out to bid with that once we collect a few more funds for that. So with that, I'll turn it back over to you, Mr. Mayor. Be happy to answer any questions. And again, this is public hearing. So,
All right, any questions from council?
Yes. Kevin, have you identified other city properties that may be potential targets, properties that would be avail themselves of these funds in the next several years?
unfortunately, we have not. We used to be able to use those funds in years past. We did a lot of handicap ramps around the city. They've kind of made those projects so they weren't eligible under this program, under the CDBG program. The only reason that we're able to use the CDBG funds at the senior center is because seniors are automatically qualified for low income. Once they hit a certain age, there's an automatic qualification. We don't have any census tracts in town that meet our low income requirements. So if we were to do a project in a certain area, we would have to go out and do a full survey of the residents in that area. So it could be done. It just takes a lot of staff time to do that, and we'd probably want to hire a consultant to go out and do some of that, because you're going out and verifying that the residents that in the area that you're trying to serve for the project meet all the income requirements. So you'd be pretty much knocking door to door and getting tax returns from folks to make sure they qualify for that. So we would have to go through that exercise really to find a project, maybe in certain areas of town.
Okay, I think there are a few city-owned properties, residences. Would those be eligible for something like this, Kevin?
They're not. So we've looked at trying to use some of the funds maybe at the community center for some of the projects out there. We would have to go through that qualification. So, if we would have to see who's renting the community center and how many of the people visiting that facility for a particular event, meet the income requirements, and then you'd have to take that ratio and stuff. So again, it's just an exercise of a lot of extra paperwork that we don't have the staffing really to tackle on those.
Okay, it's not a huge dollar amount. Okay. Any other questions from the council? All right, this is a public hearing, so we'll go ahead and open the public hearing. Kelly, you gotta have something to say on this, no? Okay, any other, interested parties want to comment on public hearing? No? None, okay. With that, we will go ahead and close public hearing. And if there's no further questions, we'd like to take action.
Yep, Mr. Mayor, I'll make a recommendation. We approve the recommended 2025-2026 funds as shown on our
Staff's recommendation.
agenda. Huh?
Second.
Staff's recommendation, yep.
All right, thank you. Don't have a vote button.
There you go. It's there.
Well, it's there, it wasn't working.
No, now I mean,
Yeah. All right, 2B.
or not.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll take this one as well. Another public hearing for us this evening. This is the last and final step for abandonment of some partial right-of-way on Acacia Avenue that is not necessarily needed for the improvements down there for Acacia. The project that will be built at that particular parcel for the abandonment will be putting in all the full improvements when they do their project. This was just some extra area. There was a couple exhibits attached. I put one together with Google Earth image just to show you kind of more of where that abandonment would occur. So this is the final step. We did go to Planning Commission and they reviewed it against the general plan. It is consistent with the general plan with this abandonment. So this is the final public hearing and approval or adoption of the resolution this evening.
All right, are there any questions?
I have one. The property to the south, looking at your Google map picture, it looks like the same thing may exist there. So at the point some development occurs, we might be going through this again?
Yeah, it's actually property to the south of it is the full right of way and it is attached to the sidewalk there. So the property to the north has got some about 9 kind of homes over there that are rental homes and that would have a little bit less of an abandonment at that point, but when they go through a project there, we would probably be going through the same thing.
Okay, thanks.
Any other questions? Seeing none, this is public hearing. We will open up public hearing. Any public comment? Seeing none, we will close public hearing. Is there a motion?
I'll move to adopt the resolution.
Second.
All right, we have a motion second.
Oops,
That's all right.
I think I hit. Oh, okay, never mind.
Somebody didn't vote or it didn't take it.
It says Leon.
There we go. All right, we will go to reports. Guy, Ken?
Just really quick, we do not have a planning commission meeting next Monday. I did send out a link to a very thick housing element. Hopefully you've all been able to open that and read through it. If you want a hard copy, just let us know. We can print one of those
Oh,
for you.
please.
We will wipe out about 3 trees for each one, I think, but be happy to print those if you guys would like to read them rather than on the computer. But we will, I think, be going to Planning Commission in April to do a public hearing. They'll make a recommendation to City Council. I think our consultant is got a conflict for the May meeting, so it'll probably be in front of you as a City Council in June. So if you are reading through there and have questions or comments, you would like answers sooner than later, go ahead and email them to me. I can get them out to the consultant as well. If not, we can always go through them that evening too. So there you go. That's it.
Thanks. Mr. Terpstra? Mr. Warner? Nothing to report. Mr. Verstuccia?
Yeah, a couple things. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. April 5th is going to be our First Responder Appreciation Day. We line up at the police department at 8:30. We usually get between 200 and 500 people. The first 200 people get shirts, and then we'll walk down to the fire department, have some presentations, and just come out and thank our first responders as we have for the last 7 years. The second thing I want to bring up, I want to thank Kevin because if you've all driven around town, you've seen cones in the street where PG&E is where a utility company has opened the streets up. And in my particular neighborhood, it sat for 4 months before anything was done. And I started getting a lot of complaints. So Kevin and I talked about it, and finally it seems like they're moving. But I say that thanks to Kevin, but I think what we should probably do, and Kevin and I talked a little bit about this, but I think we should amend our encroachment permits about, if you're delayed more than 2 weeks, you don't close it up, there's a penalty, we get a deposit. I don't know what the answer is, but they can't keep these things like that coned and blocking off streets for a long time. So I thank Kevin for getting it moving at least, so.
They only had 2.5 billion in profit this year, so.
Yeah,
give 'em a break.
exactly. So, missing parts. We opened a branch for the bank and it took us 6 months to get the electrical panel. But if they know the parts they need, well, don't dig until you get the part, then you dig. But don't open it up. It sat 3 months, probably a little longer than that. Just sat there, cones, and pretty dangerous actually too with what they did. So anyway, I want to thank Kevin for doing that, and I think we should revisit our encroachment permit process and fees and all that stuff. I think.
Okay.
That's it. Thank you.
Euchre?
Nothing.
Nothing? Okay, Mr. Zuber.
I have one thing. Overall, in general, I think we had an extremely successful Hammond Festival weekend this year. And that is due to a large extent to the volunteers and the groups here in town, but it is really due to 4 young ladies in this community that basically, I think, probably got a total of maybe 8 hours of sleep in 3 days. And I think they deserve some recognition because it was really good, and it was because they did what they did that it went as well as it did. So, thank you.
Mayor Barton.
Yes, thank you, Mayor DeGraff. Just echoing Leo's comments, wonderful almond blossom weekend. Kelly's really good. I brag about her all the time, but I didn't know she could control the weather as well. I mean, yeah. Kelly, it was a wonderful, thank you so much to you and your team, echoing Leo's comments. So, one other thing, we are in a little bit of I'm going to call it a counter revolution at the federal level. And we now have DOGE. And I am 100% advocate of what they are doing. If the federal government ran like the city of Ripon, there would be no DOGE. And I might have a car. It would not be needed. And so I say that as another opportunity to thank Kevin, Lisa, Jane, Kenny, the senior staff here at Ripon. This town runs so efficiently. We care for every dollar because we know it doesn't belong to us. It belongs to the taxpayers. And if our federal government and our state government could in some way grasp that ethos, we are going to be so much better off. So anyway, thank you to the city of Ripon.
Well, always hard to follow that up, but yeah, I think it's pretty apparent that we live in a pretty wonderful community. Just about everything we heard tonight in the last month's events, and yeah, it's a pretty special place. So appreciate everybody. Appreciate you guys coming tonight and speaking. Anybody that's listening, thank you for listening to our meeting, the whole thing. Kelly, I did see that you guys must be bored. You making videos about being bored at the chamber now, something like that. I don't know. Yeah, I've got enough. I don't know. Let's say just negative comments about the video that I was in. So I might have to hold off for a while.
Negative.
The guys don't like it. I don't know. The guys don't think I should have done it. Yeah. No. But keep up the good work. Appreciate it. Anyways, with that, meeting adjourned.